I guess the question is, are we live? Start streaming. I wonder, is there a way for me to view it? That would be ideal. Maybe I'm streaming right now. Ain't no one watching anyways. Start streaming. I wonder, is there a way for me to view it? That would be ideal. Maybe I'm streaming right now. Interesting. I don't know if you guys can hear that. We're working. All right. Let's exit out of that. It says we are live right now. All right. Maybe I'll cut that first part out. Welcome, everybody. Trying something new today. If you're here and you've seen any of my previous videos, you probably noticed that we're on a different channel. Quick introduction. My name's Dylan. Live in Salt Lake City. I'm a construction project manager by day. Just getting back from work, which is why I'm wearing a white polo. Not my usual attire, but I have been playing disc golf for about 4 years. Have a YouTube channel called Disc Golf on the DL. That might be where a lot of you came from. I also have a chess channel called Chess on the DL. DL for Dylan Lloyd, just my name. And if you've seen the chess channel, then this setup probably looks familiar, but we're obviously not playing chess. So about a year and a half ago, probably a little more than a year and a half ago, came up with an idea for a disc golf app that lets users compete against AI at local courses, and had no coding experience. And so I spent about 8 months learning Swift and coding my first iOS app, which is Throw At The Pros. That got released last year. It's been out for maybe 10 months at this point, but it was my first ever foray into coding. So the app certainly was not perfect. Had an okay launch, but there were a lot of things I wanted to fix. A big complaint amongst people, obviously, is that I made it in Swift. It was for iOS, was not for Android. So I got a lot of requests about making an Android version of the app. I had only just learned Swift, had no idea what I was doing. Ended up taking about 2 months to build out a couple other app ideas I had that went pretty quick, and then took a little break from coding. I've been playing disc golf a bit more competitively for the past year and a half. I play NPO, rated in the mid 980s right now, trying to play some bigger events. With my ultimate goal being to make it on the Pro Tour. That's goal number one. But Throw At The Pros has also been a really fun side project for me, and quickly becoming more than a side project. So for the past 2 months, 2 months ago, I decided that it was time for me to improve Throw At The Pros, put in a bunch of ideas that I'd kind of generated over my own using of the app, and suggestions that I got from other people, and also to make an Android version. And you can't make an Android version with the Swift app. There's a couple third-party open source tools that you can use. I'm sure I could pay someone to do it, but neither of those are really my style. So instead, I decided I was just going to learn a completely new language and build out the app from scratch with all the new features, design changes, performance improvements, etc. that I wanted to make. So I've been working on that for probably about a month and a half at this point. Throw At The Pros is still a bit in its infancy, but we've got some progress, and the goal of these live streams is to kind of convey that development process. So I've had a number of people reach out to me saying that they had ideas for their own apps. They didn't really know how to get started. Other people just have suggestions for Throw At The Pros. Some people are curious as to how it got made in the first place. The idea is, for one, to use these videos to keep me focused and motivated on coding the app. Right now it's July 19th. My goal is to launch Throw At The Pros, the new version, on October 1st. So we've got, 2 months and a couple weeks until we hit that date. It's going to be a lot of work, but that's the date I'm sticking to. I'm planning on announcing the app probably within the next 2 weeks. Starting to invite beta testers for both iOS and Android. But the goal is to just develop it here. I'm probably only going to live stream once or twice a week. I'll be coding outside of those hours, but I just don't have the time to live stream 100% of the time. I do still work full time in something not related to this. so that makes this a little bit challenging. But yeah, I'm going to try to bring you guys along as I develop the app. Maybe eventually we'll get people actually watching. I'm sure these will just be videos that people will watch after the fact. Or not watch it all. We'll see. But for people who do decide to join on the live streams, I might try to build out a more regular schedule for that. But I'm constantly trying to develop and improve this app. I'm not doing it from a complete, zero knowledge of coding like I was the first time, but I'm still a new mobile app developer. So if anyone has any suggestions, any things they'd like to see in the app, we'll add it to the list. I may even code it live with you. So that's the goal. I think I'm going to start with a little intro into where I'm at right now with Throw with the Pros, and we'll go from there. So building the app out in Flutter. Did a little bit of research, probably spent about a week looking through the available options, decided that Flutter was probably my best bet for making an app that I could code once, have it both for iOS and Android, and still have it be, I was hoping, somewhat similar to Swift. I'm sure to more advanced developers who have worked with a lot of languages and a lot of different platforms, Swift and Flutter are maybe not too different. To me, they felt drastically different. There's definitely been a learning curve all over again, just like there was the first time with Swift. But having some background in mobile app development, it's been going a lot faster. So this is the main menu of Throw with the Pros. The one caveat I'm going to mention right now, if you go look at Throw with the Pros on the App Store, so the original is still available. It's probably going to change within the next couple weeks as I take it off just to avoid confusion as I'm developing the new one and getting ready to release it. But I do have colors, more aesthetic designs in the original. Right now on the App Store, it's just TWTP for Throw with the Pros -original. So if you look up TWTP-original on the iOS App Store, you should be able to find it. It was just named Throw with the Pros, but I changed it so I could reuse that name for the new app. Anyways, point being that one is more aesthetically pleasing. My goal with this one, and my goal with the first one, I did the same thing with the new language, is getting everything to be functional and then messing with the design later. So the one thing you'll notice here is that nothing really looks pretty. I don't care about that. I put no time into making it look pretty. I've found, especially even with the first app with no coding experience, that making it pretty is a lot easier than making it work. So the goal here is to make everything work, and then we'll make it look pretty at the end. So Throw with the Pros, running it on a Android simulator, which has been fun in and of itself because the first one couldn't do that. So this is Throw with the Pros. For those of you who have never used or saw any of my marketing, which was minimal for the original, Throw with the Pros is an app that basically creates virtual tournaments in your pocket. So the idea is that you can turn your casual rounds into competitive tournament rounds against AI. So probably easier to demonstrate than to talk about it. Road to the Pro is going to be the main feature with Throw with the Pros. Course setup here. So we're going to select the course we're going to play on. I have a test course in right now. It's 9 holes, all par 3. In Throw with the Pros, there will be a manual option. The original had it as well, so anyone can go add their own courses. I'm also working on a way to make it to where people can select already existing courses from a global list. I had that in the original. It didn't really work. Trying to make that a little more efficient, easy, simple to understand in the new version. But right now, I don't even have course input as an option. That's something I haven't coded in yet. I just have a hard-coded test course in the file that the rest of the course will eventually go to. So we're going to select the test course. Bad weather. This is going to get a rework as well, but essentially you can select the weather and it'll affect how the AI perform. If it's raining, the AI will perform worse, obviously. We're going to have divisions available. Right now, the only divisions, we have MA4 through MPO, and then also FA4 through FPO. That's just via a setting, which isn't hard-coded in yet, but it'll absolutely be there before release. You'll be able to choose between any of these divisions, and then the same for the female protected divisions. But essentially, you pick your division. Depending on how far you've progressed in the app, you'll have different divisions and tiers unlocked. The idea, especially with this new app, is that it resembles kind of the typical growth cycle of a disc golfer, from discovering the sport to, eventually maybe competing in the open division and competing in big tournaments. So that's what I'm trying to replicate, and the AI are going to reflect that as well. So to be upfront, if you're an MA4 player, MPO is going to be really hard in this app, but that's the idea. But MA4 on its own is also going to be fun, and you're not really going to be limited very much by which division you compete in. It'll kind of cater to everyone, which is the goal. So for here, I'll pick MA3 just for fun. We'll have all the tiers available, so XC tier through A tier. In the original app, we had Silver Series, Pro Tours, and Majors. I'm reworking that whole system. So now it's going to be a little bit better reflection of what the Pro Tour is like currently, which is Q Series events. So Q Series events are going to be unlocked, and that's going to earn your spot on tour within the app. And the tour feature is going to get a whole rework as well. Very long-winded example of how the app works. So essentially, we'll pick a division, we'll pick a tier tournament, we'll pick the number of rounds that the user is going to play, select our course, and then we get this information. So competitors is going to be the number of AI you're competing against. This is the total purse, and then we have a first place bonus. So in Throw with Pros, there's 2 currencies. Names might change, but right now they're AM credits and disc bucks. So AM credits is what you're going to win for all of the amateur divisions. Disc bucks is what you're going to win for the pro divisions. But to make it to where people who don't make it to the open division or don't want to compete in the open division can still earn that second currency, which is going to be required for some things, there's a first place bonus. So if you get first place in any of the amateur divisions, you'll also win this first place bonus, which is in disc bucks instead of the AM credits you can see here. So we'll click tee off, and then we're in the tournament. Again, a lot of this is going to get filled in, names adjusted, design changes, but this is the gist of it, essentially. So we'll have a tournament name up here. These can't speak. These are the AI that you're competing against. We've got our leaderboard here. You're always going to be at the top. Right now, that's just user. But for every single course that you're playing on, that course is going to be set up in the sense that the app will know how hard that course is. If you do it manually, and possibly on the globalist, if I get it set up right, it can also tell how hard individual holes are. Each hole is going to have its own hole average based on the tier and the division you selected. The AI are going to perform accordingly. And where the tier comes in is that for higher tiered tournaments, the AI are going to perform a little bit better, which in my own competitive experience has turned out to generally be true. If I shoot 1,000 rated disc golf at a C tier, a lot of times it's going to be good enough to win in MPO, but if I go shoot 1,000 rated at an A tier, I'm probably finishing maybe top 10. So MPO A tier AI are going to perform better than they will in MPO C tier. That works the same for all tiers, all divisions. But so anyways, these are the AI we're competing against. Right now, scoring is going to work hole by hole. So you'll click start hole 1. It'll show you the whole information. You put in the number of strokes for your score. Let's say we got a par on it. Submit, and then we've got AI scores popping up. So to keep users from having to scroll, your name's always going to be at the top. You'll always see user here, but the AI are always going to update by their total score. So we can see Peter's in first place, having birdied the first hole at -1. We've got a bunch of people at pars, some over pars as well. You can also adjust the leaderboard hole you're viewing by this slider here. So there's 9 holes. We can go 1 through 9. Enter another hole. Say we birdied that one. We're at 1 down. Peter birdied as well. He's at 2. So this is the general gist of it. You'll play through this, see how you're stacking up against the AI on a hole-by-hole basis. The idea is that during your casual rounds, you're adding some sort of competitive edge to try to recreate that tournament feeling. I know that for me, and I've met so many people who experience this, I'm sure there's a number of other people who do as well. I typically, less so now, and I'll give credit to the original Throw with the Pros for helping me with this. But a year ago, I would perform probably 5 to 6 strokes better every single casual round than I would during a tournament at the same course. The tournament pressure, especially when it's something you're not used to in disc golf and an individual sport, affects your performance quite a bit. And just trying to mentally put myself in a tournament position doesn't necessarily work. Throw with the Pros gives me an actual tournament to compete in. So every single casual round I play now, unless I'm truly just going for fun, most of the time I'm going to get better. And also I think this is pretty fun as well. But yeah, so we'll finish out this tournament real quick. Let's say we aced hole 3 just for fun, took a bogey, and then let's say we birdie out. So we'll go through all 9 holes. You can see our final leaderboard here. Ended up winning by 5 strokes. First place. We'll finish the round. This is going to be the round finish screen. Again, not overly pretty. The Throw with the Pros is going to calculate a round rating for you. That's going to come into play when unlocking certain things within the app. It's going to show you your place, show you the leaderboard. I did select multiple rounds, so it's going to prep for round 2. Had I only selected one round, which I should have done for this demonstration, it would take you to a tournament completion page, which essentially shows you the leaderboard again, shows you what your payout was. So you're always going to earn payouts for tournament performance if you place in the top X percentage of the field. That's also going to be adjustable by the user in certain situations. But yeah, that's kind of the premise of Throw with the Pros. We're competing against AI for the division and tier you selected. As long as the course information is accurate, they're going to perform accurate to however you customize the tournament. So we'll go back here. This is a resume button. This obviously looks terrible right now. And I have no disagreement there, but that's just so if you have an existing tournament, you can just resume it and jump right in. So now we're in round 2. Anywho, still some bugs to work out there, but yeah, that's the idea of Throw with the Pros. We've got a couple of the views built out right now. We've got settings. This is going to be where you adjust whether or not female protected divisions are engaged. Change your username here. Mine set as Dylan. It's obviously not showing up in the tournament leaderboard, something that's not coded in yet, just because I haven't gotten to it yet. We got a support menu. There's going to be some train features here. These are just going to be probably simple Excel sheet type tools. I've got a note on there to reach out on Fiverr. I do some disc golf coaching on Fiverr and outside of Fiverr, and I've had people connect with me through there, but I'll have a little link there in the app for anyone who wants to check that out. Here you can also email me, check out my website, see my other projects, but in general, just to support if there's any issues with the app, this note to developer tool is what I want people to use. Send me an email, easy for me to track. Courses isn't going to do anything right now, but that's eventually where you'll go to add courses for selection in tournaments. Shop is a placeholder page right now. It looks just like the support page because I copied and pasted the code over. But the shop is going to be where you take your payouts and buy discs, bags, sponsors, etc. There's going to be a few other things in there. But buying items with the currency that you earn is how you're going to unlock more tournaments and features within the app. So when you start the app, you're only going to have an XC tier and MA4. For those of you that's a comfortable area for you, it'll take you a little longer to progress. For people who, frankly like me, are higher rated MPO players, you're going to be able to win tournaments, earn currency faster, and at a more rapid pace get to a level where the AI are providing a competitive environment. And then profile is the tool I'm working on right now. So this is going to be just a general summary of your progression in the app. That's the idea. So username, your current rating. Rating is going to be an average of your last 10 rounds right now. Kind of up in the air on how that's going to work, but I'll probably change the calculations as well. I've got a note here for tour cards. So the thing I'm most excited about in this new version of Throw with the Pros, and something that was very poorly done in the original, is a feature that's going to be called Tour Life. So the original app had Tour Life, except it was kind of hard to get to, wasn't very clear what it was from the get-go, and as such, a lot of people didn't really get to experience it much. I know for me, I didn't want to do Tour Life in the original app until I unlocked MPO. That was quite a bit too hard in the app. So I'm only, having released the app 10 months ago, only just now finally getting to the Tour Life portion of MPO. I know a lot of people didn't get to experience that, but the idea is that you kind of go through these generic tournaments, unlock, progress through the app, and then get to go compete on tour in the division that you selected. So tour cards are going to be earned by placing well enough in Q series events. You earn a tour card, and then you get to start a full tour season. So I'm going to have a full tour season in the app. You're going to play through a bunch of different events. There's going to be standard stroke play events. There's going to be match play. There's going to be the playoffs and the finale tournament, which is going to run kind of similar to the current Pro Tour finale, with some slight modifications based on how I think that should work. But yeah, so tour cards here is going to show which divisions you've unlocked a tour card for. This is your progression within the general divisions. Again, if you have female protected divisions enabled, that's what you're going to see here. But this shows you what you've unlocked so far. So MA4, we've unlocked XC tier, MA3, XC, and C tier. This arrangement of progression is not really going to be possible within the app. No one's going to be able to have unlocked a Q series and MPO before they unlock any other tiers in MA4. Those values were just hard coded in so that I could test them, make sure this view looked right. But yeah, you click on this, it'll tell you what your next unlocks are for each division and how you can get them. So as you can tell, I've got some disc names in here, no bags in this one. For Q series events, there's going to be some performance requirements that are needed to unlock those. But yeah, so you can click on here, see what you need to do. For any items that are purchased, that's when you'll head over to the shop, which isn't in yet. And then down here we have sponsors. So sponsors are going to also be unlockable based on performance and are generally just going to provide performance updates. Performance boosts. Updates isn't the right word. They're going to provide boosts to the players. Also trying to somewhat replicate what it's like in real disc golf. So ambassador sponsors are going to be fairly easy to get. Elite sponsors are not. But you click on here. This is what I'm currently working on. So this is what I'm going to code a little bit today. Obviously this looks like crap, but idea, same thing with the divisions, is that I'm trying to convey what the next unlock is and what the user needs to do to achieve that unlock. So that's what we're doing right now. I'm going to code for a little bit, talk through what I'm doing. Maybe this is entertaining if any of you are trying to get into coding, and maybe this will be educational. As always, feel free to reach out if you have any questions, but that's going to about do it for my introduction. Otherwise, we're just going to kind of hop in. Also, I wanted to try live streaming. I've been enjoying filming videos on my chess account and have thought about live streaming there, doing some live tournaments. And this seems easy enough so far. Seems like we're still rolling. So I'm in my profile view right now. And I'm probably going to talk a little bit less. I was going real fast there. I need to think. This is definitely not... Well, actually... This is pretty good here. 5.0. Okay. So I think that page is working. I am going to adjust the layout a little bit. I'm not going to... I say I'm avoiding design changes. I'm going to space this out. I want to make sure that this is readable before I move on from it. To the point that when I start beta testing, I want the app to be clearly functional. Doesn't necessarily need to be aesthetic looking, but I would consider this page right now not functional. Like, there's a lot of text, it's all the same color, it's all very close together. Doesn't look great. Also just doesn't make a lot of sense. So that's what we're going to work on right now. So right now I'm trying to find the code that controls that pop-up, which is right here. Return sponsor. Okay, so we need to go down to these functions I've built out, which are returning the text. We need bonuses where I'm showing the percentage. And I'll explain what those bonuses are a little bit more once I find what I'm looking for here. Here we go. Times 100. And so here I want to convert this one to an integer, which I believe is that. And then we need to add a percentage. Now hopefully we see this update live. Yeah. So now we got 5% instead of that 5.0, which kind of looked like crap. So right now in Throw the Pros, we're going to have 4 sponsors. Disc manufacturer, bag manufacturer, a retailer, and an apparel brand. The idea is that those are going to provide discounts for certain things within the app. So discs, they're obviously discs you can buy in the shop. The disc sponsor is going to give a discount based on what level you've achieved with that sponsor. It goes from ambassador to pro to elite. And that's the same for all of the sponsors. So right now the discounts are set up at 5%, 15% for pro, and then 40% for elite. I didn't hard code any progress to check if this is working, which is probably something I should do shortly. But right now they're all set at 0, so they're all showing the next sponsor unlock as the ambassador level at 5%. As you can see, to unlock the ambassador level for each one, what you have to do is play in 5 events. And what I'll probably do Because I think a big issue with this view right now is that there's just way too much text. The qualification for each sponsor, this play in 5 events, is going to be true for every sponsor at the same level. So for the ambassador sponsor level, regardless of which actual sponsor it is, the unlock requirement is going to be play in 5 events. So I think I just need to put that once up here and do it for each level and then have these below it. That's what I'm thinking. Because that's going to be return this next sponsor requirement. So I'm going to go back up here where I am displaying that information. Turn next sponsor requirement here. So I'm going to copy and paste this. We're going to get it out of there. Keep my formatting somewhat nice and neat. And then I'm going to add another for loop here, and I'm going to put all those requirements at the top. Rewards.sponsor level names. So here I'm basically iterating over a for loop 3 times for the 3 different tiers of sponsors. And then ideally this should be displayed at the top. We'll add a little buffer here, a little space between this new text I'm adding and the rest of the information. This one's going to be return next sponsor requirement. How am I taking that in here? All right, so this code works. In case I want to use it later, I'm going to comment it out right now. But that's not how I want the current function to work. So instead, we're going to go tier here. Actually, I take that back. For what I'm trying to do, I don't even need this function. So I can leave this function as is. And then instead of using it, we can go back up here. And this one can just be the actual names itself, because I already have variables established for the tiers of sponsors, so Ambassador, Pro, Elite, and then what the requirement is. So I just need to hard code that in. I've got my $sign here. Rewards. If anybody out there actually codes in Flutter, I'd love to. I guess Dart is technically the language. Love to hear from you. Sponsor level names. And that's going to be level. And then the unlock is going to be rewards dot what it takes to unlock sponsor level. Let's see how that looks. Probably I'm going to reload the app here. Go back to the main menu. Got to clean up that resume button. I've got an upgrade button here, so there is going to be an in-app purchase. Throw Out the Pros is going to be largely free, but the Tour Life feature is going to be part of a monthly subscription or yearly subscription at a discount. Maybe not the most overly popular decision, but ultimately my goal is to play on the Pro Tour, and a big part of that is going to be funding for it. The hope is that I can use this app to generate some amount of livable income, or at least a portion of it. I also am trying to pursue disc golf coaching a little bit more heavily. But yeah, it's going to be pretty reasonably priced. That was a struggle. I think right now I was leaning towards either $1.99 or $2.99 per month. That's $1.99, or $14.99 for the whole year. But we'll see. That's not in there yet. Let's go back to the profile. Okay. Still not great, but it's better. I feel like maybe some more spacing would help, but I don't have that much room. Let's see what happens if I get rid of this padding. A little bit more, because it seems like this dialog already has some implicit padding encoded in it. It's definitely not letting it get to the edge. It's wrapping it beforehand. I think the issue is that I'm going to run out of room. Next sponsors needs to be, well, I'd have to hard code that value in. I want a little bit more spacing down here. That's kind of my issue right now. I don't think that updated. Let's reload. I think I can just click out of that and go back in. It'll work, yeah. This is getting a little bit better. I think apparel brand, I'm gonna take that off just so it's not kicking it to the next line. Let's refresh again. I think I need to refresh to get variable changes to take effect on the emulator. Yeah, so this is just apparel ambassador now. What do we think? That's not bad. I think this is closer to what I'm looking for. Yeah. Chat agrees. All 0 of you. All right. That's okay. I haven't even tried to share this YouTube channel. I think I have 1 subscriber. So I think that's probably going to about wrap it up for profile. I do have the stats page here. This all functions right now. I've been resetting the app multiple times. Not just resetting it, but like deleting it, re-downloading it to the emulator just so I could test the app startup. But the stats do work, so you'll be able to see all of these stats for your tournaments and Throw with the Pros. I was pretty excited about that. But yeah, we got the stats page. Trophy room just goes to the main menu right now. But that's eventually going to hold trophies that you actually win for all the standard tournaments and also for Tour Life events. It's going to be a special little trophy room for Tour Life. Let's see. I've got a whole... I guess you guys can see this now. But we've got Throw with the Pros launch schedule. This is the list of all the things I want to do before I release the app, which is October 1st. So, let me pull this up. We'll go to my current list. I just added the updated view to show what sponsors do. What's next? Okay, so right now, I also have requirements for what it's going to take to unlock the Q series for each division. Let me go find that information. I'll sneak peek of some of the disc names here. Q series unlock requirements. Okay. Let me think about how I want to do this. I think we're just going to need separate variables for each of those just to track them. So this one I'm already logging. I'm already tracking total events. I don't need that one. That one I don't think I need either. I have statistics down here. I don't want average event. I think I'm going to make a separate variable just to track this individually. So we're going to call this static var has Q series been unlocked. if that's a good way to track it. I think it probably is. Yeah, let's stick with that. I like that. Has Q series been unlocked? All of these are going to be based on the finish of a tournament. So I'm going to go to my tournament finished screen here. Then up here at the top, we're going to add notes for this. So these are the things that we need to track. Let me go ahead and get rid of this line, because that is not needed. We got this one here. Okay. So back to tournament finish. So this is going to be the code that runs after the completion of a tournament. Actually, I think I want to run this at the end. It's probably not even at the end. I think I might want to just do it individually. You can see I've still got some legacy code in here from the old app that I ported over to get this general thing to work, but then I've kind of decided to rework a lot of this. So we're not going to have Silver Series anymore. So I'm going to put this up here just so I don't forget it, but I think I'm going to end up putting a lot of these in individually. All right, so Q Series Unlock 1 is going to be play 3 events. So here I'm going to put a note. Here I'm tracking the total number of events that have been played. Actually, I don't even want it there. I want it way down here. So we're going to do a sum here. Our total event sum equals 0. And actually, just to save maybe a little bit of time, I only want to run this if that Q series check is already false. So if rewards dot Q has Q series been unlocked 0. So this little exclamation point means not. So if I didn't have that, this would check if it was true. This is now checking if it's false. So only if it's false, we're going to have this total events sum equals 0. Get that code out of there. All right, and then 4, we'll just do div short for division. Division is less than all divisions dot length. All divisions is a variable I have that just has 5 values for MA4, MA3, MA2, MA1, and MPO. Same thing for FPO. So the length is 5. So I'm only running it once for each division. All right, and then we're going to do total events sum, and then add to it total events division. So here I'm creating a sum of the total number of events. And then we're going to say if that sum is greater than or equal to 3, which is what we're checking. Need to put that in parentheses. Then rewards dot has Q series 0 is equal to true. Now I will want to save that. Save goals and achievements. Let's I'm gonna go, and so here this is where I'm saving a lot of the information to the app, and I'm gonna save that. Is Q unlocked? that, but I want this. There we go. All right. And then integer lists are strange to save, so we actually save it as a string and then encode it, which is annoying. But there's not a great other way to do that. Let me go create a key for this. We'll do constant pen unlocked key. Creating that key just so I don't mess it up. Am I typing somewhere? Don't seem like it. It'll let me know. Has Q series been unlocked key, and then is Q unlocked. And so there I'm just saving it to the user defaults so that every time the app closes and reloads, that information will be saved. So that's cool there. I think that one should work just fine. So I've got play 3 events done. Place top 5 in any event. Place is less than or equal to 3. And so this one I can just go if awards has Q series been unlocked 1. I think eventually as I code this, I realize this is not the fastest way to do things. I should probably be refactoring a lot of this out. This is fairly confusing to go through and read. I'm not very good at commenting my own code, but I'm also not very good at coding in general. So we're kind of figuring it out as we go. But again, right now, goal is functional. So if place, which is holding the user's place in the tournament, is better than 5, which is just top 5 in any event, was my qualifier right now. Then rewards has 1 equals true. So that'll be 2. I probably, instead of hard coding these numbers in, I want a variable to set that as well. That's okay. And then if place equals 1, I think for the sake of clarity, I could put it up in code that I already have. But I assume I'm going to take this all out and put it somewhere else, and then I'll have it all in one spot. All right, so if that's not true, not already fulfilled, if place is equal to 1 and I want to check the tier. How was I receiving that tier there? So it's just win a C tier or better. So that just means that tier is not going to be equal to C tier. Put a couple more parentheses around these just to make sure they're very clear. So if it's not an XC tier, that means it's either C tier or better, which is our goal. And then we're going to set that one equal to true. So we got that one out of the way. All right, third, place top 3 in any MA1 A tier. So here we're going to do the same thing. Rewards 3. I could also put this in a for loop. This is probably a pretty stupid way to do it. Oh well. Trying to talk and code. I'm already not good at coding. Talking and coding, even worse. Okay, so 3 if top 3 in an A tier. So if the place is less than or equal to 3 and tier is equal to, so actually I kind of want to do all divisions here because it could be MA1 or FA1. So all divisions 3 contains it. And all divisions 3 contains division. Then that one's going to be equal to true. All right, and then last one is when an MPO A tier. I'll go ahead and delete that. So if hasn't already been fulfilled, if place is equal to 1, and all divisions 4, which includes MPO and FPO, contains division, then it's equal to true. All right, I think that's gonna be where I call it today. Somehow that already ended up being like an hour between setup and actually filming. But we got the profile, the sponsor page updated, looking a little bit cleaner. And then I've got the qualifying code set up for unlocking the Q series events. This isn't actually going to function yet in the tournament setup. That's something that I'll get to later, but I'm at least storing the values of the variables now, so I only have to read them when the time comes. Should be easy enough. But yeah, we'll go ahead and save these. I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thanks anyone who watches after. I don't think we had any live viewers, but I'll start putting this YouTube channel out there a little bit, following some people, and maybe we'll start to get some viewers. As always, if anyone has any questions, any input, suggestions, just wants to reach out and say hi as a part of this filming the development of this app, I would absolutely love to hear from you. So leave a comment down below. I'll have my Instagram on the channel. You can DM the Throw with the Pros Instagram. I'm not too hard to find, I don't think. So yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next stream.